Longhorn fans, Sooner Nation, welcome to episode 198 of the Bevo Podcast, the only podcast exclusively dedicated to covering the greatest rivalry in college football, the University of Oklahoma and the University of Texas. I'm here with my man Kevin Miller. I am John Whitson. Kevin, we're going to talk Texas, Florida this episode primarily. But let us not fall victim to the fact that we can't look ahead, because we can look ahead to OU Texas week, and that is next week. We are on the precipice of hatred that rivals every other rivalry in the country. We are on the precipice of a week that generates emotions that are unmatched. And Kevin, you and I will be celebrating that hate 1 week from today at the Chicken Shack in Arcadia at 6:30 on October the 8th. We will be live, recording live in front of a live audience on OU Texas Eve. Not really Eve because it's the Wednesday before, but you get what I'm saying, Kevin. This is exciting for us. It's exciting for the fans. And Kevin, I'm excited about it. Are you excited about being in front of a live audience?
Of course, yes. First of all, this is the most important week of the year for us. It gets no better. It's the biggest rivalry in all of college football. Sorry, Ohio State, Michigan. Sorry, Alabama and Auburn. It doesn't get any better than the Red River Shootout. And I'm excited to talk about it at the Chicken Shack next Wednesday. So be there.
Is Texas going to hold up its end of the bargain and beat Florida?
Yes.
If Texas beats Florida, I think we have a top 10 matchup.
Absolutely.
That's fantastic. I did not anticipate OU being ranked so high.
Neither did I.
And we're going to see what happens with Miami, Florida State. If Florida State somehow can beat Miami, I mean, OU could potentially even be higher.
Correct.
I don't think so. We're going to pick this game.
But, I mean, it's there if it happens.
Yeah, we're going to pick this game.
It could happen.
But this is exciting stuff. Chicken Shack, Arcadia, come for the chicken, stay for the OU Texas talk. This will be as good as it gets next week. All right, Kevin, let's dive into this. We're going to talk OU Kent State after we talk Texas, Florida. It's there. There are some storylines, but we're going to start with Texas, Florida. This is Texas's first SEC game of the year. This is a road trip to the swamp. Last year, y'all beat down Florida, albeit with their backup quarterback. Let's start with the quarterback on both sides, because this is the matchup, right? So, DJ Lagway on the year, 67.5% completion rating, 5.6 yards per completion, 5 touchdowns against 6 interceptions. Keep in mind, 5 of those interceptions came against LSU, which is skewing that total, but they're there nonetheless. Against Arch, 61.3% completion percentage. However, a much better 8.4 yards per completion, 9 touchdowns on 3 interceptions. Just looking at those numbers, is that clear advantage Arch to you?
Yes, it is. But, I mean, look, Lagway didn't just forget to play. It hasn't been a great start for him. And I think similar with Arch, these guys were so hyped up before the season. No fault of their own, but the media, it's a storm behind it. Arch was on a completely different level, but it was really high for Lagway. He was a 5-star kid, got pushed into action last year, and did a really good job. So now we're thinking, oh, this guy's going to be a legitimate Heisman candidate. I think they're both have been pressing so far, and we've seen that a result of that pressing, them kind of getting out of the things that they did last year that made them great as young players. Trying to do too much, I think. Trying to live up to what everybody else has expected them to be so far.
I think with DJ Lagway, we've got a couple things to think about. Number one, is he even going to play? I think the question's got to be asked.
I would be stunned if he did. I've heard nothing about him.
But he wasn't a boot. He wasn't a boot following.
He wasn't a boot following the Miami game.
But that was 2 weeks ago.
Correct. They had a bye just like Texas did. And from what I've heard, he's been a full participant in their practices. So I would be blown away if he didn't trot out there.
So that's number one. Number two, Texas defense. He's already – so DJ's been tested, right? Lagway has been tested. We're talking about South Florida. We're talking about Miami. They lost another game too,
LSU.
right? Huh?
The LSU game.
And of course, I'm sorry, LSU. So he's been tested. However, this is still going to be the best defense he's gone up against.
Correct. Yes, and I think it'll likely be the best defense he faces all year. But
despite their schedule?
Correct.
Because they've got a loaded schedule, but that's probably true. I mean, you think Texas is the best defense in the SEC, right?
Yes, I do. I mean, there's some others that are in the conversation for sure. Oklahoma has a great defense. Florida has a great defense themselves.
Right.
So, but yeah, I think those are the cream of the crop.
Okay, so DJ against Texas what is Texas looking? You know, we always talk about what they need to take away. What does Texas have to take away from Lagway in order to be successful?
Well, first of all, they got to take away the running game with Jordan Ball, who I really like. He's a big physical runner. He actually did some pretty good things against Texas last year. The game was already out of reach, though, before he got going. 6'1", 230, physical back with some speed, too.
He's got 5.9 yards a carry, 2 touchdowns, 289 yards on the season versus Gibson for you guys, who has a high on the season of 155 yards. Your running game hasn't been where you want it either. Arch hasn't been where he wants it. The running game hasn't been where he wants it. How concerning is this offensive line going up against this Florida front?
Yeah, it's a big concern, all right? And they continue to take some steps in the right direction against very poor competition, right? We'll admit that. So, yeah, it's a concern. They've got a really good and athletic, or really they're more of a physical front than more of they're not really a speed rushing front like Oklahoma is, but they're really stout. And the way they shoot gaps, they can make it difficult for you. So, yeah, that's the biggest challenge I see in the entire football game for Texas is, can our offensive line hold up? Can they create holes in the running game? Because I think we do need to run the ball effectively to win. Now, you talked about our running game. You see Jared Gibson being our leading rusher. That is not by design. That is due to the injuries that we've suffered with Quintravian Wisner and C.J. Baxter. Now, I'm hopeful that we get Wisner back for Florida. That'll help a lot. I think he can, first of all, he can calm everything down, just be a calming presence. He's the most experienced guy that we have out there. And his ability to kind of break tackles and pick up tough yards will really help against a talented defense in Florida.
We're recording on October 1st, 7:23 p.m. We're expecting Texas injury report out anytime. I think that's going to give us the insight we need on Wisner and C.J. Baxter, right? I mean, if we see them in the probable category, you'll probably feel a whole lot better about things.
Okay, and it's out.
It's out.
I've got it right here in front of me. So
okay.
C.J. Baxter is on the injury report listed as doubtful. And I prefaced this when we talked before the show that I'm not sure about Baxter. I didn't expect Baxter. And with him being doubtful, I mean, that kind of tells you right there.
Is Wisner even on the report?
Wisner is on the report as questionable, along with defensive back Kobe Black. He's a reserve corner. And Emmett Mosley, who is a transfer receiver from Stanford, has not played in a game yet, got injured in camp. He is listed as questionable. And then probable, we have the sophomore safety Xavier Filsamy, who's a former 5-star. He's a backup safety. And then Malik Muhammad is listed as probable as well on the injury report.
So when Oklahoma's first injury report came out against Auburn, Marvin Jones Jr. was on the questionable list. A number of the offensive line guys were on the questionable list on the Wednesday report. And they progressively moved up the report to the point where by the end of the week, I think like some of the offensive line wasn't even on the report. I mean, I guess that's what Texas fan is looking for, right? Is to see Wisner jump from questionable to probable, C.J. Baxter jump from doubtful to questionable, and you might have a chance of seeing them play.
That would be great, especially for Baxter, just because, he just does some things from a physical standpoint that really help this team. And he's a Florida kid too, so I'm sure he'd love to play in front of his friends and family in Florida. He's from Orlando, not far from Gainesville, so it'd be great for him.
We got sidetracked. Okay, so Texas's D needs to stop the run game.
That's always paramount when you play really any team, but especially a team like Florida.
And you're thinking, because based on what LSU did, I'm guessing the thought process is if we stop the run game, force Lagway to pass, we bring in a high likelihood of creating turnovers.
Yeah, forcing turnovers. Yeah, when you can pin your ears back and really get after the quarterback, drop guys back in coverage, just do some things from a coverage standpoint to confuse the quarterback. And with the pressure that Texas can create, we can kind of get him off his spot a little bit, force some errant throws that our guys in the back end have the capability to intercept.
Okay, you talk about that pressure. We talked about it in the last episode. Colin Simmons not performing up to what his expectations were going into the season. It was Sam Houston State. Did we see anything against Sam Houston State? You know, we're looking kind of at Arch against Sam Houston State. Well, on the defensive side, I think really we were looking at Colin Simmons. Did you see anything that made you feel better about his performance?
Yeah, I mean, he had a sack on the first play of the game.
First
snap, so that helps.
That could help.
Yeah, and again, same with Arch, same with DJ Lagway. I think he's had so much hype, right? People saying he might be the best defensive player in the entire conference. That's a lot for a young guy. You hear that. They can try to show themselves all they want. They hear it. They're on social media. So I think those expectations can change the way you approach the game. You're trying too hard. You're doing too much. He's had several offside penalties. So, and again, he's not playing poorly, but he's, like I said, he's trying so hard. He's just doing too much, right? And I will say this too. Last year, he was in a great position because he's behind guys like Barron Sorrell. He come off the bench, and he had one job last year: go get the quarterback. That's it.
Yeah.
Just get upfield and get the quarterback, and he can do that as good as anyone in the country. Now he's been asked to do more: set the edge, drop back into coverage. So he hasn't had the opportunities, but when he's had them, he's trying so hard to impress that he's doing too much. So hopefully this bye week has helped him to kind of just settle into the season and just go do what you do, man.
He might be the most athletic edge in the SEC right now, but I wouldn't put him as the best at this point through 4 games. Would you?
No. Based on what he's done this year, no.
Yeah.
No.
So, I mean, I agree with you. Obviously, stop the run game, get Lagway. Here's my concern if I'm a Texas fan on the passing game side of things for Florida. Arch actually has better yards per completion numbers than DJ does. However, your receivers, just as a comparison point, you got Livingstone. He's at 11 for 232 and 3 touchdowns. That's your leading receiver. Ryan Wingo, I believe, has 13 catches for less yardage. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
3 Florida receivers have more catches than your leading receiver. 3.
Yeah.
Vernell Brown III has 18. Hayden Hansen has 15. Eugene Wilson, Eugene Wilson has 15 catches. That tells me they've got dudes. And that's going to put, I think, a little bit of pressure on a secondary that hasn't been tested because you weren't tested against Ohio State. I think you'd agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, I think they have something to do with why they weren't tested.
I don't know. I don't trust saying.
They had a conservative game plan, for sure. Yeah, and again, building trust with their quarterback. When you play a secondary like that with an inexperienced quarterback, like saying, you don't want to take a lot of risks. And they didn't take a lot of risks. And
they didn't even take a lot of risks against Washington.
No. At this point, it seems like Ohio State, they're just doing what they have to do to win. And at some point, they're going to need him.
Ohio State reminds me of a Georgia.
Yeah.
Like a really good Georgia team in the late teens.
Yeah.
You know, and that's their quarterback reminds me of that quarterback. You know, if he's going to get like 155 yards on 15 of 20 passing, 2 touchdowns, and every other game he has an interception, but nobody cares because their defense is so good.
Now, at some point, they'll need him. They'll need him to be great. And we'll see if he can. I think he can. I actually like what I've seen from him so far. But here's the thing. Yes, they have guys. It's Florida, right? They recruit well. There's talent everywhere. It just hasn't clicked from a play calling standpoint, and Billy Napier is their play caller, right? It just hasn't clicked. They're hoping that it clicks against us.
Okay.
Obviously, I'm hoping that it doesn't. If I wouldn't want Texas as a get-right game from an offense.
But do you want Florida as a get-right game?
I don't. No. But it is what it is, right? I feel good about our chances to win this game.
Yes.
Because of our defense. And I don't want to be too premature here, but I like what I've seen from Arch. I don't care about the opponent. He was struggling against UTEP, San Jose State.
Yes.
But it's up here.
Okay.
It's not anything that any defense has been. Well, Ohio State's a whole different story. I think they have the best defense in the country. But I think he's starting to come off of.
But if I'm Texas fan, okay? If I'm Texas fan and I guess I don't have to be Texas fan. I can be OU fan. When I look at these stats, okay, and I look at these three receivers and I look at the running back. So you have a running back that has almost double the yards of your leading running back. And you have three receivers that have more catches than your one leading receiver. And that's against LSU, South Florida, Miami, and one other, I think Long Island or something. Yeah. So that's their Sam Houston, right? But they've got three quality opponents that they put these numbers up against. Whereas you guys on your end have had one quality opponent. I would have expected your numbers to be so much better. I guess you could make the argument that they were pulled out by the middle of the third quarter, but I don't think that's the case.
Texas that's absolutely been the case. I don't think we've shown a lot. I just don't think we've needed all of our guys.
Yeah, but when you have stacked up, when you have stacked up stats, wouldn't you have been able to pile up stats in the first half against those three opponents?
Potentially. That's just. I do have concerns about the game. That's not one of them, though. The fact that their guys have better stats, especially when they're down in most games. You're just throwing the ball over.
Yeah, but you're running back. But I'm talking, the running back, too, has double the yardage of your nearest running back.
Because our guys have been hurt.
All right. I appreciate the optimism. Of course, I'm an OU fan.
First of all, I'm going to be honest. I'll tell you I have concerns. That's just not the concern that I have.
The other concern, I think, for Texas, and we talked about this on Sunday, is outside of A&M, this is your first SEC road trip of any of the traditional powers.
Correct. Yeah, this is the first crazy loud stadium.
You haven't been to Bryant-Denny. Yeah. You haven't been to where Georgia plays.
As a member of the SEC, we have not.
As a member of the SEC, which I think it'll be a little different, right? I think you'd agree with that.
No.
You think it was good? Bryant-Denny would be just as crazy?
Oh, okay. I thought you meant because we're in the SEC compared to. Yes, Florida, I believe, is going to be louder than Bryant-Denny was.
That's what I'm getting at.
Yes, correct.
But you haven't been to Tennessee. You haven't been to Georgia. You haven't been to Alabama as an SEC member. You haven't been to LSU. You don't have to play Oklahoma. I mean, those are your big boys. You have been to A&M. You succeeded in A&M. You weren't stellar offensively, but that was last year, different quarterback, so I'm not sure that matters. My point being is Arch has been in a hostile environment. He did not thrive. At the end of the day, you've got 3 games since then against inferior opponents. I know what your answer is, but I have to ask, has he shown you enough in those 3 games at home against inferior opponents to make you believe he can go into the swamp at 2:30 on a Saturday SEC game and perform to the level he's going to be expected to perform in order to win the game?
I think he can. The issue with Ohio State, I don't believe, was the environment. I thought we actually handled the environment well. I thought the offensive line, from a procedural and pass blocking standpoint, handled the environment just fine. Arch's issues are with being on time and in rhythm. That's been his issue the whole year. He's rushing through.
And pulling the trigger.
Yeah, exactly.
When he's not rushing, he's not pulling the trigger.
Correct. So it's like he's going through his progressions so fast, his clock isn't right. Some guys have a slow clock, like Jackson Arnold. He has no clock, right?
We talked about that on Sunday.
He's like too aware.
Pay attention to our Sunday when we recap that. That dude's just a statue. I don't even know what's happening back there.
I know. Auburn completely.
Yeah.
But he's going through his progression so quickly and not realize, hey, you actually have time. The play is designed for you to look through your first progression. If it's not there, then go to your second. So he's looking, and then so I believe it's starting to slow down for him. But this is a big test, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do, right? Because he's going to have to make some plays here. He's going to have to make plays. And I do look for his legs to be a factor, too, this week.
Well, he's going to have to make plays, especially if Wisner and Baxter aren't back.
Correct. I do anticipate seeing Wisner. But, yeah, if for whatever reason, right, if his hamstring is not fully responded to the treatment that he's gotten, and we have to roll out there with Jarrett Gibson, Christian Clark, and the true freshman James Simon. Yeah, he's going to have to – there's going to be a lot on him. He's going to have to rely on his weapons. DeAndre Moore is going to have to play a great game. The tight end, Jack Endries, who was really good against Ohio State, he hasn't got a lot of targets since. I expect him to be a big factor. Emmett Mosley, who has experience, hasn't played yet this year. I expect him to be a factor. And then we need Ryan Wingo to play well. We need him to be in the right spots and make big plays. We have the guys that can do it. You got to go get it done because this is just the beginning, right? It only gets harder from here.
Well, I mean, this is a turning point in the season, I think, for Texas. I think this is an incredibly critical game because a loss takes you to 3-2 with no quality wins at all.
Correct.
With an upcoming schedule that doesn't give you a lot of I mean, it gives you OU and Georgia, but the confidence level, if you go to Florida and lose, is going to chip away at the confidence level significantly, right?
Yes. Look, if Texas wants to have the season that I think they can have and that they think they can have,
they have to
win this game. Yeah, simple. Simple. It's kind of like you guys with the Auburn game, right? It's going to be tough, but if you want to be the type of team you have, this is a game you have to win. Talented team on the road, go get it done. You've won 9 straight conference games, go make it 10.
I guess I would have said coming into this season that you are more talented than Florida.
Yes, I still think that.
I question it.
Okay.
Especially on the offensive side of the ball. I just question the weapons. I mean, Parker Livingstone is a nice player. Do you really want him to be your number one? Do you like him at number one?
I want Ryan Wingo to be our
But that's concerning, right? It's a little concerning to me that Arch and Ryan Wingo still haven't got any kind of rapport. I mean, he's got 13 catches, but not for very many yards.
It was better against Sam Houston State. But the thing is, it's proven time.
So we got running back where I think, especially if Wisner doesn't play, but if Wisner does play, I don't know. Do you think the Jaden Baugh kid, at least through 4 games, has shown more than Wisner has, or do you think Wisner's
last year? So no. The numbers speak for themselves, right? I like Baugh. I think he's a great running back. And again, it's Florida, right? So
I think
talent is never the question.
I think your defense is better. Check mark for defense for Texas. Quarterback so far is a wash.
I have no real argument with that.
Running back and wide receiver, I've got to give the edge to Florida.
Fair enough.
Offensive line,
I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know enough about Florida to know,
Same.
Except to say I know enough about Texas to go, it's been concerning that your guys don't have holes to run through.
Correct.
So,
and here's the thing too, is when the holes have been there, some of the backs aren't hitting them correctly. And I noticed that within our first 2 or 3 games.
So last thing that I always like to look at is coaches. Clear edge to Napier?
It's not even close, man. Come on.
Well, I tend to agree. I'm not being funny. I tend to agree that Sark has to be better than Napier. You haven't been to the playoff the last 2 years.
Yeah.
You've built a roster, but we know what Sark does in some of these games.
Correct.
That's where I think, I mean, Napier could screw a game up too. I think we've seen that.
Well, I mean, the record speaks for itself, right? I mean,
with
the talent they have.
With the talent they have.
Yes. Like Sark's not losing to South Florida.
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so.
Texas beats the teams that they should beat.
I agree.
Ever since Sark has got his guys in, Texas beats the teams that they are supposed to.
The line opened at 7.5. It's gone down to 6.5.
Any thoughts there?
Well, I think
it's Lagway. I think it's Lagway's health.
I just think it's Lagway's health, and there's still lingering questions of Arch. Money's coming in on Florida to cover. Okay. Maybe not win, but I think money's coming in on Florida to cover because they're concerned about Arch's ability to complete a forward pass.
We haven't seen it. We just haven't seen it. So I get it.
All right.
It's time for us to see it.
Do we want to pick that game now?
Yeah, let's pick it now.
Okay, so Texas and Florida, over under 41.5. The line is 6.5. Texas is favored, 2:30 at the Swamp. Who do you got?
I've got Texas winning, and I've got them covering. I think it'll be a tight, physical football game. But, man, our defense against their offense, our ability to get pressure, force turnovers, I think we get it done. I think Arch does enough. I'm not expecting him, 405 touchdowns. No, but I think he does enough. I think he makes enough couple of big plays down the field. I think he runs the ball well, gets us a couple of explosive plays that way. We get the job done, and then it's on to OU.
I think I told you I would take the under all day, and I would still take the under all day. I just think this is going to be a really low-scoring game. And because I'm so high on the under, I also think that the line's going to get compressed. I think Texas is going to win, but I don't think they're going to win by a touchdown. I could see this being 21-17, something like that, right? Because I just don't think Texas has the fire as is to pull away from Florida, because Florida's defense is going to stop. I think of LSU, right? I think of LSU. They gave them 5 more chances, and they still held LSU to 20.
Isn't that crazy?
Well, it's insane.
I mean, it's really not saying what LSU has been, but anytime, no matter who you're playing,
you're playing, though, right?
If you're going to roll over 5 times, you expect them to capitalize this a few times.
And that's with Nussmeier, who we think is pretty good, but he hasn't shown it this year.
Another one, man. Everyone who's been hyped up to start the season,
John Mateer
has
John Mateer's pretty hyped up.
He is hyped up, but his hype has come during the season for the casual fan. People like us, we knew what he brought to the table.
Okay,
yeah.
So I got Florida. All right, let's move over to the Oklahoma game. I mean, here's the storyline. The storyline is not the game. OU is a 45.5-point favorite. Oklahoma with Michael Hawkins can win they can name the score. Kent State is one of, if not the worst team in FBS. The top 2 worst teams in FBS, right? I mean, They're really better or worse than Sam Houston State.
They're right around. They're similar. It'd be a close game.
It'd be a close game.
Yeah.
Okay. So the storyline is Michael Hawkins. Out of this, the storyline will all be centered on Mateer's thumb. There have been reports throughout campus that he's not wearing a cast. He's not in some kind of large bandage, that he seems to have mobility, at least at restaurants. We're not going to give those restaurants a free plug, but if Chipotle does want to advertise with us, hit us up at Bevo Pod. But it looks like there's still probabilities in the positive sector that say Mateer's going to play. I mean, if you had to pick right now, a week and a half out, does Mateer line up against you guys in the Cotton Bowl?
I would say no.
You're still saying no?
Yeah, I would say no.
After everything you've heard?
Yeah. Just based on what was said at the beginning
of the surgery process.
Well, yeah, right when it was announced, it was a month, and we're literally cutting that in half. It took 17 days post surgery. Now,
Is it 17 days?
I think the Red River Shootout will be 17 days past the surgery.
Hold on, I don't know.
Check that.
I don't know if that's accurate.
So, again,
because it's 14 days since Sunday.
The surgery wasn't until Wednesday, wasn't it?
He had the surgery on the 23rd.
Was that a Wednesday?
That's a Tuesday.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 14, 19 days.
19 days? Okay. Are you sure it was Tuesday?
I'm almost positive.
Okay.
I'm almost positive. I believe it was announced on the 22nd.
Okay, and was that Monday?
I guess it could have been announced on the 23rd. Regardless, I guess we're splitting hairs.
Yeah, exactly.
You're saying 17, I'm saying 19. Okay, it's probably 18.
You're probably. But yeah, so that's what they said. So what has changed if they said a month to make it? Obviously, he's insanely tough, right? And I have been on the record that I hope I want John Mateer to play. This whole season, I've been excited for Texas to be able to face John Mateer. See if they can shut it down. But
I think when you ask what's changed is the knowledge now, at least, or the belief now, from what we infer, not what we know, but what we can infer from the situation and from commentary coming out of the program, and is that there weren't any complications.
Yeah.
I think we can acknowledge that.
From everything I've heard, it's the same thing you've heard.
Right. So no complications, potentially no setbacks. So that tightens that 4 to 6 week window down to 4 weeks, which would be South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is, can he accelerate it by 1 week?
And here's the question I have for you, right? And I know, obviously, this game, the River Shootout, is paramount over any other game.
It's literally the only game that matters to me, but go ahead.
But any concern about rushing him back too soon, him taking a hit, it becoming a 2009 Sam Bradford situation to where, and I don't know if you'd have held out Bradford more, if it would have helped any, but if he rushes back, he gets hit, and it's his throwing hand. He runs the ball. If he takes a swipe or if he gets tackled, he falls on his hand and he's out for the season. Or do you believe in Michael Hawkins that much where you're willing to risk that?
Oh, I see what you're saying. We believe in Michael Hawkins so much that we're willing to play Mateer
before he's ready,
with there being a chance that he could exacerbate the injury. Yeah, that's what you're saying.
Correct. Yeah.
So that's kind of counterintuitive.
Yeah, knowing that John Mateer gives you the best opportunity to beat Texas.
It's kind of counterintuitive, though, right? You'd agree with that, the way you just answered. And so I have to kind of think about that.
Yeah. So
we trust Hawkins so much for the rest of the season that we're willing to trot out Mateer in hopes that he gives us the best chance to win and doesn't exacerbate his injury. I think you have to look at this schedule one game at a time. The schedule's too difficult. It's too difficult all the way through, right? I mean, games that we thought were going to be easier have suddenly gotten harder, i.e. Missouri. That game has gotten significantly more difficult than it was at the beginning of the season. Don't they have like the number one rushing attack in the country or something close to that?
Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah.
It's so I think you have to look at it as one game. If he's cleared to play, you play him. I think it's that simple.
Yeah.
I don't even know in these days if Venables even gets a call on it.
Yeah.
If he's cleared to play, you play him. You can't worry about what ifs. And so the question is, will he be in a position that the medical people, his doctors, team doctors, everybody agrees you can't injure this anymore, go play.
Yeah, have at it.
And if that's the case, then I think you got to roll with them.
Yeah.
That being said, back to Michael Hawkins, and we're going to see, it's kind of like the Sam Houston State argument. I mean, what are we going to know coming out of Kent State? I don't know, but I think we could see maybe some maturity, right? Some decision-making that he might not have had last year.
That's the biggest thing. How does he run the offense and what kind of decisions does he make? Does he throw when he needs to throw? Does he run when he needs to run? Does he go through his progressions?
We've talked about this ad nauseum, but it bears repeating. His first start was against Auburn on the road as a true freshman with an offensive line that was awful with no receivers and an offensive coaching staff that could not game plan themselves out of a McDonald's bag. I mean, it was terrible.
It was bad.
And so the situation around Hawkins is infinitely better. And he's had a year to progress. He's now I guess he didn't save his red shirt. So now he's a sophomore, but he's been a sophomore under Ben Arbuckle. He's been a sophomore in this system. He's been a sophomore with a John Mateer, not a Jackson Arnold, in the same quarterback room that can help him with this. By all accounts, John Mateer is the kind of quarterback that is probably helping Hawkins. I think so, right? I think you're
correct.
Yeah. So I think what we can get from and glean from this game is not the score, but the eye test. Does he look comfortable? Does he feel comfortable? Is he making the right decisions? Is he making the right reads? Does he have a vibe with his receivers? I think we can see that. And if we see that, I'm going to feel really, really good about him going forward, even if it's Texas, because his athleticism gives us something that Texas has to game plan for. Even though Mateer is a dual threat, Hawkins is a dual threat on another level when it comes to his athleticism. I don't think they ran him enough last year. Yeah. I think they tried to tell him to stay in the pocket against Texas, which just blew my mind. Like if you were confronted with last year's scenario, the dude should have had 20 called runs.
Correct. Yeah. And
I don't know that they had any called runs for him.
Quarterback counter.
Do you even remember that? I mean,
quarterback draw. Not very many, no.
I would like to think Arbuckle would play call to his strengths, unlike the previous regime. So that's what we're going to see. Also, along the injury front, we expect to have Eli Bowen back. We expect to have Giovanni Gibson back. I think Eli Bowen, it's going to be interesting to see what happens to Gilroy. He got beat up pretty good against Coleman. I will contend, however, that he got beat up almost on purpose. Is they had to take the run away. They had to take the quarterback run away. and they forced Jackson Arnold to throw the ball.
Yeah.
And so they knew, I mean, at the end of the day, Coleman only had 3 catches. Now he had a couple PIs, which impacts, what am I trying to say? The line of scrimmage, like where they're out on the field.
And he was open a lot. But again, Arnold couldn't hit him.
But Arnold couldn't hit him. And so what's the need to roll over a safety?
Correct.
Right? You say.
And Kent State don't have Cam Coleman.
Kent State didn't have Cam Coleman. But I'm thinking forward to Texas. We're going to have to be more balanced in our defensive attack.
Yeah.
It can't be. Now, I say that unless we see Arch go crazy running the ball against Florida.
Yeah.
Because what if Sark's answer to Arch's inabilities to throw the ball is to say, hey, dude, we're going to run you.
Yeah.
So if we see Arch start to run the ball more against Florida, well, then maybe we see the same type setup. But I think we'd agree, even Ryan Wingo, who we both like, isn't Cam Coleman.
No, he hasn't shown to be that type of guy.
Parker Livingstone isn't Cam Coleman.
No.
And now we're going to run Eli Bowen, Gentry Williams, Cortland Gilroy. Those are pretty competent corners. I think you would be okay in the same kind of setup if we see that.
Yeah.
So I think Gilroy just had to take it on the chin. And I think that's probably what they told him, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, bro, this is going to be
go out there and do what you can do.
Do what you can do, and don't worry about what happens. Like, we'll deal with whatever happens and it happens. But so I don't know. If this was Texas and Bowen is completely healthy, do you think he gets a start over Gilroy? Because he was a freshman All-American.
He was, and he was your best corner last year, right? And he's a dog, for real. So I think we need to see how he looks, how he moves out there against Kent State. I know it's Kent State, but we're not looking at the opponent. We're just seeing how he turns and runs, how he stays, and does he have any complications?
The other 2 questions.
Off that ankle injury.
The other 2 questions for the OU Texas game. I'm sorry, the OU Kent State game. The first one is, does this defense create any turnovers?
You would hope so, man. It's Kent State, man. You got to get one.
The Oklahoma defense, I think we all think is really, really good.
Yeah.
I think it's ranked nationally. It's ranked within the conference. We've got studs that would start at any school in the SEC. Jaden Jackson would start at any school in the SEC.
He's awesome, man.
He is legit. R. Mason might not have the same talent of a Colin Simmons, but he's got that 4-year starter with some serious talent.
Oh, yeah. He's got some juice for sure.
You know what I mean? So maybe he doesn't supplant a Colin Simmons, but he's a very, very good edge in this conference.
Correct. Absolutely.
RSJ, Bowen, Gentry Williams, good on the back end. Kip Lewis, obviously doing great. So it just blows my mind that with that defense, including 2 scrub teams so far, that we haven't had a turnover.
It's very surprising, for sure. You got to get one.
Dude, we had 10 sacks on Jackson Arnold. In one of those sacks, we couldn't knock the ball out of his hands.
Yeah, so surprising, right?
I mean, really, though, right? I mean, how often do you see a team get to the quarterback that often and the ball doesn't get knocked out?
He gets hit a lot and somehow holds on to the ball.
He didn't hold on to the ball last year.
No, I mean, against A&M was the same way.
Did he have an interception against A&M?
I don't know if he had an interception, but I mean, as far as him getting sacked a lot.
Well, he hadn't thrown an interception through Oklahoma.
I still think he has.
I don't think he has.
Yeah.
It's probably because he doesn't want to pull the trigger. That's part of the problem. It's hard to throw an interception when you're not throwing the ball.
Yeah. Man, the kid just has no awareness of the rush at all.
It's going to cost you. They're already talking about Hugh Freeze's job down there. Like, hey, you made the decision to go with this kid, and he's not doing it.
Yeah, I mean, they've got the 5-star freshman Deuce Knight back there. He must not be ready. For Hugh Freeze to continue to roll with Arnold, he must feel that. But if the job's on the line, you switch to the young guy, kind of like in the NFL with them putting Jackson Dart in the game because it gives you hope.
It gives you hope. It gives you juice. And
correct.
Yeah.
Even though it's false hope.
The last thing I'm going to bring up for this Kent State game, what we expect to see potentially from Oklahoma, is do we see an emergence of Jaden Ott? Or is this or am I wasting my breath even talking about this kid?
That's a really good question because this guy is on a milk carton. He is completely MIA. I mean, one of the bigger named transfer running backs in the entire country.
Well, he was the number one. He was the number one running back transfer.
we've seen nothing. So
9 carries for 11 yards. I don't think that number's changed because he didn't play against Auburn.
No.
And he didn't return kicks against Auburn either. He wasn't back there at all in any capacity. BV spoke positively about him in his press conference. I believe Arbuckle spoke positively about him in his press conference. I bring him up only because he was brought up by those coaches. And maybe they were answering a direct question, but he was discussed, and he was discussed positively. But, I mean, come on, man. We're 4 games into this deal.
Yeah, why haven't – what are you doing to not be on the field?
Also, I don't know. I don't even know. I don't even want to give it any more attention because I think we might be just beating a dead horse on whether he's going to play or not. That's number 1. Number 2, the run game has to get better for Oklahoma. I don't know how it gets better. I was listening to the Dari Noka show with Josh Helmer today, and they were talking about different schemes that should be considered. Dude, we're 4 games in. We're coming to the 5th game. This is week 6. I don't think you're inventing schemes.
Yeah.
You had a bye week.
Maybe they installed some stuff.
But I don't think you're inventing schemes. What I will say, though, is, and I noticed it against Auburn, and I think I talked about it in the recap of that game a couple weeks ago, is that Arbuckle was really weird on second down.
Okay.
Especially in the first half. We would pick up, we would go for 4 yards. So we'd be in 2nd and 6. And then he would have very odd running plays, like reverses and jet sweeps wide. And I talked about how you can't go wide against an SEC team.
It's very difficult to do that.
I think if there's an improvement to be made, it's in the second down play calling when we're at second down and positive yardage. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
And I think if we can take advantage of that situation with a more traditional run game, it'll open up our passing game, right? So if we can get to, again, we're not going to be able to know what we can see against Kent State, but against Texas, if we get to 2nd and 6 and we're wanting to run the ball, I don't think we want to run wide against Texas.
I wouldn't advise it, right? I mean,
Colin Simmons, Anthony Hill Jr. and Colin Simmons might be the 2 fastest defensive players in the interior.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And I think we're about to see them elevate even more because I think they've been kind of used in different ways.
But do you think I'm off base with that? I don't really think we can start running GT counter now because we know, they're like, well, look at what Missouri can do. They run the zone blocking scheme or whatever they run. It's
sometimes this Texas offensive line, because the outside zone play is Sark's bread and butter, and they're not running it this year because I don't think this offensive line can do it.
Yeah.
Last year we had, a bunch of experienced guys, Kelvin Banks and Cam Williams and Jake Majors, and those guys can run outside zone. But these guys are having to run gap and
I think the emphasis has to be on the play calling. It's not the scheme. You got to pick the play call that we're best suited for.
Yeah, correct. Whatever you can do, you got to do it.
I think you got to do that better. Yes. And you have to do it at the right time. I think the timing, it's kind of like, I'm not comparing Arbuckle to Levy because they've been very different play callers. But when Levy would run those jet sweeps, it's just the weirdest times and not really set you up for success. Mm-hmm. His play call timing was weird.
Yeah.
And in the first half against Auburn, I would say Arbuckle was very similar to Levy in that sense. In the second half, more or less we abandoned the run, and we substituted the intermediate passing game for the run game. It worked against Auburn. I don't know if it works against Texas. We shall see.
Yeah, it might be your best shot, though. In Texas, we'll see if they've improved in this aspect. I think they have, but, we'll see if Oklahoma decides to test that as, those little crossing routes and making Anthony Hill kind of
think about it.
Yeah. About who, and, we go back to the 23 game on that last drive and he got loose. Drake Stoops across the middle, right?
And we've got Kanik. I mean, we haven't even talked about Kanik on this episode, but he's turning into a real weapon.
He really is, which I still can't believe.
And he's the kind of guy that can put pressure on your linebackers.
Absolutely, yeah. Because he runs like a receiver.
Yeah, he's got speed. He's got speed. He's got size. He's not going to get pushed around.
Legit speed.
I mean, he's outplayed injuries through 4 games.
Yeah, he's been more productive than injuries. Yeah, for sure.
Who's a better tight end than him in the SEC?
That's a good question.
We might have to.
I mean, the guy from LSU is pretty talented, like freak.
Bauer Sharp, that guy.
No. It was they had a play and they ran a jet sweep and Again, he just got pushed into the backfield.
I'm
not even mad at him. It's not his fault. We all know he can't do that. So why are you having him as a primary
You think he would say something? Like when they call the play in the huddle, he'd be like, look, Garrett, come on, bro. Yeah. You know that ain't my that's not my deal.
Yeah, it's a Brian Kelly.
Check off of that.
If you're gonna run a jet sweep or an outside zone, you're not gonna run it to his side.
Okay. OU Kent State. OU is a 45.5 point favorite. I'm gonna say OU covers. Because I think they want to show offensively what they can do with Hawkins. I think that they're going to open the playbook and put him in positions to try to make some plays.
Yeah, I mean, they're a horrible team, man. And you're going to put some distance there, bombs away, and big runs, big plays.
You like OU to cover?
So what you're saying? So yeah, I like
OU to cover. 52-3, something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right, let's give a shout out to our sponsors. Again, if you're just catching us in the middle of the show, Chicken Shack, we will be there live October 8th, previewing the OU Texas game. This is our raison d'etre. That's French for our reason to be. And that is for the OU Texas OU game. It's the second Saturday in October, the second Wednesday in October. We're going to be there previewing it. So be there. Come for the chicken, stay for the football. Our title sponsor has been, and hopefully will always be, Brown O'Haver. Brown O'Haver is a public insurance adjusting firm working for the insured, not the insurance company. If you've had a loss to your home or your business, call Brown O'Haver, 405-735-5510. Let them adjust the claim for you to get you more money than you get on your own. 405-735-5510. Kevin?
Pioneer Roofing, John. If you've had any issues with your roof, it's Oklahoma. We obviously have a lot of hailstorms here. If you think you may have damage to your roof, give Pioneer Roofing a call. They'll go out, meet with you, give you a free roof inspection, let you know if you have any damage, if you need to file an insurance claim, or if your roof is just fine. Give them a call. They'll take good care of you. 405-549-2712.
Here's the deal, Kevin. It's been very quiet in Oklahoma for hailstorms, like even rain. I'm afraid that the bottom might come out in the middle of October. It's done that before in Oklahoma.
You've seen it before, that crazy freeze we had?
Yeah.
That was insane.
So that's a potential. Okay, anyway, call Pioneer Roofing, and then if you have a big loss, call Brown O'Haver. Okay, let's jump into week 6. A lot of teams in the top 25 are on buys this week, but there's still some pretty good games. Friday night, West Virginia at BYU. BYU is an 18.5 point favorite. Jump in early Saturday games. Kentucky at Georgia. Georgia's a 20.5 point favorite. We've seen Kentucky make this interesting. I don't think this is a year that happens.
No, and Georgia coming off a loss too, they're really going to be anxious to get back out there and
it's at home
themselves. Yeah, I don't see. I'd be stunned.
I mean, Kentucky might cover. We're not going to pick this game. I don't think.
No, I don't think so.
Kentucky might cover, but
But we've seen it be interesting before, but especially when it's in Lexington.
100%. Iowa State at Cincinnati. Interestingly enough, Iowa State is the 14th ranked team in the country, but Cincinnati's the 1.5 point favorite at home.
That is very interesting.
I double checked that to make sure I was reading that correct. And Cincinnati is the 1.5 point favorite there. So I don't know enough about Cincinnati. We've seen Iowa State look pretty good though throughout the year.
We're talking Iowa State as a potential college football playoff participant if they can win the Big 12. And that's a very interesting line.
I just don't know enough about Cincinnati to know what's going on there. So I'm not going to pretend. Wisconsin at number 20, Michigan. Michigan is 17.5 point favorite. I think that speaks more to the fact that Wisconsin sucks than Michigan.
Yeah, I don't think Michigan's great.
They beat Nebraska. Remind me, they beat Nebraska, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. They beat Nebraska. But
I know OU beat them, and we want to think that win's really good, and it is. It's a blue blood. We have to win it. And we controlled the game and all those things.
Yeah.
I just don't know that Michigan is like. But then again, we've talked about it all year. Are they a top 20 team? Sure.
Yeah.
They're as much as a top 20 team as anybody else is.
Yeah, but is it same old Michigan with that offense? And obviously, they're depending on a true freshman quarterback.
Illinois trying to get a win after beating USC. They go up against Purdue. They are a 9.5 point favorite. What do you think about Illinois? Do you think they're legit?
I mean, they're pretty good. Yes, they're good. They're a good football team. But the problem is, they're just in a very deep Big Ten. So obviously, Ohio State and Oregon, 1A, however you want to rank them, and then you still have
Penn State.
You have Indiana, who looks pretty good too.
Yeah, they did.
They just destroyed Illinois just 2 weeks ago. So
so what you're saying is they can be a good team.
Correct.
However, the Big Ten's not getting 5 teams in there, and you're not sure Illinois can get into that top 4.
Exactly.
Honestly,
I don't think they have the credibility yet. Now, Indiana just went and took it last year, going and defeated. I guess they had the one loss to Ohio State, but they kept it competitive in their biggest game.
Yeah,
I think that's how they got in. Yeah. So they're just buried behind those other teams.
This is not a top 25 matchup, but it needs to be discussed. Clemson's playing North Carolina. I mean, talk about 2 teams that suck.
Yes.
And North Carolina is a 13.5-point dog at home to a 1-3 Clemson team. What does that tell you about Belichick's tenure so far?
Well, it just means that Clemson has better football players.
Is Belichick the coach next year for North Carolina?
I think so.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not sure unless he's got some kind of buyout.
They're 2-2. Do you think he wants out?
I don't think he wants to fail.
Okay.
And I don't know that he is necessarily interested in building a program at his age.
Then why did he take the job?
Well, I think that's the $1 million question.
Yeah.
Or maybe in terms of a buyout, $15 million question.
I'm going to quickly go through the rest of their schedule. Now, they beat Charlotte and Richmond.
So, that's what I'm saying.
And they lost 34-9 to UCF. They got Clemson at Cal, Virginia, who's good.
Loss.
At Syracuse.
Loss. Well, I don't know. Syracuse doesn't have their quarterback.
That's true. Stanford at home. They go to Wake, who
lost.
Probably should have beat.
Yeah.
Georgia Tech the other night. Weird refereeing in that game. Then they play Duke, and then at NC State to close.
It's not the worst schedule in the world. They could probably get to 500, right? Can they get 6-6 with that?
They can maybe win 5.
Okay. Well,
maybe 6-6.
Penn State looking to bounce back after a tough win against UCLA. They're a 25.5-point favorite on the West Coast. I think Penn State probably rolls.
Penn State. UCLA just firing their coach. And
a game we are going to pick, Vandy's at Bama, 10.5-point favorites to Bama. Look, they're coming off a really big win. They're in the kind of a similar position to where they were last year. Now, Vandy's not going to sneak up on them.
Yeah.
This is a revenge game, but Vandy still has Pavia. Pavia's playing really, really well right now.
He is playing
Bama.
well.
If they're, riding a little high, we're going to pick it. Going to be something to think about.
Real quick, right? With Kalen DeBoer, he's been dunked on a lot this season.
Rightfully so.
The thing about him is the big games. This dude is undefeated against Dan Lanning, Steve Sarkisian, and Kirby Smart. 7-0. 3-0 against Dan Lanning. And we're talking about 3 of the best coaches in the country, and this dude is undefeated against all of them. The problem is his team doesn't get up for the other team. Now, they should be up for this one because they smacked them last year.
Yeah.
In Nashville. They got the game. So hopefully
I don't care
Alabama's
what happens the rest of the season. If Bama loses to Vandy, he could lose his job.
Correct, yeah.
I don't even care that they just beat Georgia. I don't even care they just beat Georgia. He could lose his job.
Any positive momentum that they gain is going to be gone. And it'll be worse than he was before.
Boise State at Notre Dame. Notre Dame's a 19.5-point favorite. I know we saw what Notre Dame did to Arkansas, but Boise State's a much better team than Arkansas. I think if we were picking this game, I don't think we are. I think I'd be looking at Boise State to cover. 19.5 points?
Yeah, I know. That Notre Dame offense is pretty good. I mean, Arkansas's defense is horrible, but they've been putting up, 40
they put up
points
a lot against A&M too.
So correct. So I told you after the first game against Miami, I like their quarterback, and he's been fantastic, along with those running backs too.
You'd pick him to cover if we were picking, you think?
Yes. Just that offense is so good. But they got to get their defense right, though.
Virginia at Louisville. Louisville's 6.5-point favorite. Texas.
Hold on real quick. That's interesting because Virginia's rank just came off a big time.
They don't trust Virginia.
Clearly.
They don't trust Virginia.
Clearly they don't. I mean, that's a big spread for a team.
They've already got a loss against NC State.
True. It's a big spread for a team that's ranked against an unranked opponent.
Here's the problem with the top 25 is they are trying to find teams to put in the top 25.
Yeah.
The AP is trying to find teams, and they're stuck with Virginia at number
24.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Same kind of thing with who's 25 right now? I don't even know. Doesn't even matter. You know what I'm saying, though,
Yeah.
right? They're like trying to find teams. Virginia's one of those teams. That's why that line is as wonky as it is. Texas Tech at Houston. Dude, I do not want Texas Tech to start playing well. I think it might be too late.
Yeah, they already are playing well.
The roster made for money is actually starting to coalesce.
The game is a game, right? I mean, and they're playing it well.
I don't look. Who's their quarterback?
Baron Morton. And remember, they had the
Didn't
other
he
kid.
get hurt, though?
Yeah, but the other kid came in
Against
and
Utah.
looked better than him. Yeah, on the road.
Has he taken his spot yet, or do we not know?
Let's see. They haven't played since
Utah, so it'll be interesting to see who starts against Louisville.
Correct.
Against Houston.
Yeah.
I expected more out of Houston in the Big 12.
It hasn't worked.
I thought Houston, given the market that they're in and given Fox TV money, would produce more competitive teams. If anything, they've gotten less competitive.
Yes. Hoverson, it didn't work out there. Remember, he left West Virginia. They didn't want him to leave.
Yeah.
He wanted to go to be in that market, and it didn't work for him.
Yeah.
He had some talented players, but
no, he had much more success at West Virginia.
Correct.
Minnesota at Ohio State, 23.5-point favorite. Remember when PJ Fleck was like the next dude?
Yeah.
And they were rowing the boat?
Correct.
I don't know if they're even rowing the boat anymore.
They might be, but it's just like not going anywhere. It's
like
they got one paddle.
It's like in Tommy Boy when they're sitting out there, remember? Right. And he's getting heckled by the kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a great scene. Tommy Boy's legit. What a great movie. Miami at Florida State. We are picking this game. Miami's only a 4.5-point favorite. It's at Florida State. I think Miami rolls. I mean, I'm going to pick I'm just telling you now. I'm going to tell you now I'm going to pick Miami.
Okay.
I just don't trust Florida State.
Okay. Do you think Miami's just that good, or you're not really? You're still on the fence about Florida State?
Both.
Okay.
On the fence about Florida State, and I think Miami's that good. And Florida State, they're a really interesting team because you got to say, well, they beat Bama, and Bama just beat Georgia, so you play that game. But, man, they lose to Virginia. They lose to Virginia. You're like, okay, that's really weird. We know Miami's better than a Virginia team.
Yes.
I guess they're playing at home. Their quarterback.
Who's Florida State's quarterback?
Yeah.
Castellanos.
What, Castellanos?
Uh-huh.
His numbers aren't dramatically good.
No. He's more of a presence, leader, vibes guy.
Yes, 100%. So it's not like I'm expecting him just to like roll out. You're not expecting him to throw 300 yards and 3 touchdowns against them, is my point.
Correct.
If they win, he might be 18 of 25 for 175.
Yeah. And he'll have 65 yards rushing.
Yeah.
Off like 18 carries.
Yeah, that would be his stat line.
Yeah, nothing spectacular.
But if he had that stat line, they do have a good chance of winning. I think Miami's pretty good.
They've got a lot of talent. The problem with Miami that we've seen over the years is they always somehow mess it up. They get into this moment to where they have an opportunity and then they just screw it up.
Is this the game they screwed up?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
No, they'll be ready. I think Cristobal will have them ready to go.
I think.
This is guy. He's part of not just Miami. He's part of the U. It's different.
He's an interesting cat.
He was there. He was in those locker rooms.
I think if you're a Miami fan, you're happy with Cristobal so far.
Yeah.
Even though he's had some dumb losses.
Yeah.
He's a guy that you like.
They had Cam Ward last year and they didn't make the playoff. Right. But
yeah, it's good.
You think we have the number 1 pick in the draft?
He's struggling in the league, though, isn't he? Is it with the Titans?
They're horrible. I think that first game he made some throws that kind of caught my attention from a positive way, but it's a bad situation for everybody on that team.
I think we're going to pick, unless you want to change it, Mississippi State.
No, let's pick that. That's great.
Let's start there. Let's pick this game since it's the bottom. Mississippi State A&M, 14.5 points. Look, dude, Mississippi State has played some tough football. They made it a game against Tennessee, and it was.
And they had chances to win it.
It was not fluky. Not a lot of bad things happened. In fact, Tennessee played a very good game in order to win the game. A&M coming off a tough win against Auburn. It might not have been the hardest thing in the world, but it was tough.
Yeah,
they might have got physically tested a little bit against Auburn. We think Auburn's pretty good defensively. I like Mississippi State. I don't think they're going to win. I like them to cover the 14.
Same here, man. I hate to agree with you, but I think they'll cover that. That offense is explosive. Levy does a good job of stretching you. They ran the ball pretty well, and that passing game is dynamic. And I think he's a great play caller. I know sometimes it's timing, right? OU fan, I know, I hear you. But
Oh, he's a good call. He's a good play caller.
He's a great designer of plays too.
Yeah.
And they stretch you out, man. So
I wouldn't be surprised if they win this game.
Me neither.
But I think A&M wins.
Yeah,
but
talent level in the trenches, I think A&M is just a little too much. But I don't like the spread. There's something about A&M besides them just being A&M that I'm just still a little bit. People are picking them to win the SEC.
No.
The schedule does work for them, but
they're not winning the SEC. Marcel Reed's not an efficient enough quarterback for them to win the SEC.
I would agree.
Okay. Vandy, Bama. 10.5 points to Bama.
I'm going to roll with Bama here. Just because they've got to build on this momentum that they have after beating Georgia. That was a great performance from them. I was very, very, very impressed with how they played. They've got to keep it up, and I think they can.
I agree. I don't want to agree with you. I would love Pavia to get another upset,
Me too,
but they're not sneaking up on Bama. They know what this is about. They'll be at home. This isn't on the road. I just think Bama's going to be too much.
They've got to physically impose themselves. I think they really need to make a statement in this game. Last week was a statement, but when you beat someone you're supposed to beat, I think they need to beat them down.
Yeah. I agree. And I think they need to beat by more than 10.5. I think it needs to be a 17-point, 31.
They need to get after
it. It needs to be 31-14 or something.
They need to really, really show something.
Lastly, I think the game of the week, maybe outside, you think Texas, Florida, probably game of the week, but Miami, Florida State. Look, dude, Miami's a 4.5-point favorite. They're on the road. I think Miami's too much. I'm taking Miami.
Me too. I'm very reluctant.
You're reluctant. See, I'm not reluctant.
It's just a distrust for Miami and Cristobal. Overall, I'm still waiting.
Is he the James Franklin of the ACC?
Possibly. We're not there yet, though. We're not there yet.
So
if they don't have.
So you're going to take Florida? Are you going to take Florida State to cover?
I'm not. No.
You're taking Miami to cover. So all of this talk is just to still
take because Miami. I still think the talent level for Miami is just a notch above. And I think they're really locked in. And I like what Carson Beck has brought to the team.
Oh, I think he's been great.
And they love him.
I think he's been great. And I think it was a good move for him to transfer because he's getting to fling the ball around. His draft stock has to be going up after playing with Miami.
Correct.
I mean, he probably would have been drafted pretty high with Georgia still just because. But, man, he looks a whole lot better.
Yeah, and he's making a lot of money doing it, so good for him.
Kevin, it's going to be a great week of football. Texas has a chance to do something special in the swamp or to fall on their face. I'm personally voting for falling on their face. That being said, if they manage to come out of the win, we've got a top 10 matchup next week in the greatest rivalry ever conceived in any sport ever, University of Oklahoma and the University of Texas. Kevin, enjoy the football this week. Have a great week. Boomer.
Welcome.